Next, we have Sarah Oakley join us from Principal, and Sarah will take us through those benefits that are offered. And there is one new exciting benefit that she will also mention to you, which is a hospital indemnity plan. All yours, Sarah.
Great. Thanks so much. Can you hear me fine, Ursula?
Yes.
Okay. Let's move on to the principal benefits. First, I want to say, my role is purely education. So appreciate you taking the time to listen and learn about your benefits. I do have 9 benefits to go over. I will try and stay high level for your existing benefits and focus more on the voluntary benefits that you're paying for out of your payroll deductions. As Ursula mentioned, I'm going to be talking about hospital benefits for the first time this year. So be sure to perk your ears up when we get to the hospital benefits. But we'll be going through vision, life insurance, disability insurance, and then supplemental benefits, which are the hospital, critical illness, and accident benefits. First, we'll be going through your vision benefits. Principal here highlights your in-network benefits. You do have out-of-network benefits. You can look at your benefit summaries for those. Your benefits are always going to be richer when you take advantage of those in-network providers. As a quick reminder, when you go for an eye exam, that's covered with a $10 copay. When you purchase your glasses, you'll have a $25 copay and up to $250 to spend on your frames. Your vision benefits work off of a frequency, so they work on every 12 months. Once every 12 months, you can get an exam, new lenses, and/or new frames. If you're a contact wearer, you can get contacts instead of glasses. You can't get both with one benefit in a 12-month period. I do like to mention if you get contacts, you do not have to pay the $25 copay. You pay up to $60 for an evaluation and fitting. And then for all of you where any of your family members or you wear contacts, be sure when you're ordering contacts, you order enough boxes if it's going to cost that full $250 for a year to spend the full $250. Reason being, we can't order 4 months worth and spend $150 and then in 4 months use another $100. That $250 benefit doesn't reset for 12 months when you use it once. If you wear medically necessary contacts, these are individuals, it's about 1%. Those cost $25 once per 12 months. You go to VSP.com to locate the network providers. This is something you probably already are aware of, but I do like to mention, even if you know your doctor is in network for VSP, online you can locate not only the in-network providers, Principal uses the VSP Choice Network, but there's an online in-network provider called Iconic. You can order your glasses or contacts from Iconic and get additional savings and discounts. You can also see different promotions and/or coupons, special rebates. So even if you know your providers online, before you go for your once every 12 months, take a minute, hop on VSP.com. You can even register out on VSP's site with your Principal member ID number from your ID card. Then you can see where you are towards your frequency for your benefits, the benefit dollar amount, and all of that in addition to those providers. Next, we're going to talk about your life insurance benefits. You have both an employer paid and a voluntary benefit. I usually open with, and I didn't say here, but please appreciate that all of your benefits are an important part of your overall compensation. You have an extremely rich benefit package across the board. I do this every day, and I can tell you appreciate where you are. As far as your life insurance benefit paid by the employer, it's 200% of your earnings up to a maximum of $200,000 in benefit. That's a very rich benefit. It's very important that you have your beneficiaries up to date. That's something you can update online, which has already been mentioned, but I like to reiterate that. And you can do that any time of year, not just once a year during your annual open enrollment. Benefits do begin reducing at age 70, so be aware of that with the life insurance. In addition, you have an opportunity to purchase voluntary life insurance. Take a minute, Over half of you have purchased voluntary life insurance. So take a minute during open enrollment and think about, what is my situation? I have a generous benefit from my employer. What can I apply for additionally? So this slide shows you the minimum and maximum amounts of coverage you can apply for. In that second column where you see guaranteed, if we have anybody on the call that you're newly eligible for your benefits, enrolling for the first time within that initial period, the guaranteed amounts are what you can take out on yourself, your spouse, and children without medical questions. Anyone who's already been offered benefits, that next column, so the periodic increase. I've seen, looking at your current enrollment, that a lot of you are sitting at that 150,000 benefit. Every employee that's eligible for benefits can elect or increase up to 2 increments of coverage, whether you've already got the guaranteed amount, or even if you're over that, all the way until you get to a $500,000 maximum. So if I have $150,000 currently, I can increase to $170,000 without medical questions. If my spouse has 30, I can go up to 40 without medical questions. If you want to increase beyond 2 increments, or if you're newly eligible and want to elect beyond the guaranteed amounts, then Principal will reach out for what we call evidence of insurability, basically a medical questionnaire to get approved beyond the 2 increments of coverage. We can go on to the next slide. Next, we're going to talk about disability benefits. You guys, so often I'm explaining to employees why they want to purchase and pay for disability insurance through payroll deductions. Very simply, disability insurance is paycheck insurance. It protects your paycheck if the unexpected happened, if you get sick or injured. Your short and long-term disability benefits are paid for by the company. Your benefits for short-term disability begin the 15th day that you're off of work. That is calendar days, not business days, and they're going to pay 60% of your earnings up to a maximum of $1,500 per week. Short-term disability benefits will pay for up to 11 weeks if you have to be off work for that long because of a medical reason. We don't just get to stay off work for 11 weeks as much as we might want to. The short-term disability bumps right up against long-term disability benefits. When we transition from short-term to long-term disability, we go from weekly payments to monthly payments. Your benefits would pay after 90 days for the long-term disability and would pay 60% of your earnings to a maximum of $10,000 per month. Those benefits can pay all the way through Social Security normal retirement age, depending on the severity of the disability. I do like to mention quickly while I have you on the call, if you have a disability claim, especially with the short term, but just generally speaking, if you have a disability claim, you don't have to wait until you've been off work for 15 days to file the claim. Maybe you're pregnant and having a baby. Maybe you have a scheduled surgery. You can file those claims up to 30 days in advance. That way you're not waiting when you give birth or when you have your actual surgery to start collecting those weekly payments. There's a portion of the claim for you, the employer, and your physician. You can start that early, and then your payments can be started right away. We can go on to the next slide. So the last 3 benefits I'm going to talk about, I lump them together for just a minute. They're supplemental benefits. The purpose of these benefits is to supplement medical benefits, to give you extra dollars should the unexpected happen. These 3 benefits, hospital indemnity, critical illness, and accident, are 3 separate options. You can choose to enroll in one or all 3. As was mentioned, the hospital indemnity coverage, this is the first time this benefit is being offered to you. Hospital indemnity benefits pay if you're hospitalized. Critical illness coverage pay if you're diagnosed with an illness, and accident coverage pays based on an injury that happens in an accident. These benefits pay direct to you. They're not coordinating with other insurance, and they're not paying to providers. How you use the money is completely up to you. So when you're enrolling in these benefits, things to think about. Your medical deductible. You guys, if you have medical through Network Design, you have two different plans to choose from. You may have medical through your spouse, you may have medical through your parents. It doesn't matter where you take your medical benefits, you can still benefit from these supplemental benefits. So think about, do I have my medical deductible in the bank or that out-of-pocket maximum? For you guys looking at your medical plans, your first plan has no deductible. That's great, but you still have an out-of-pocket maximum. And I saw that if you're hospitalized, you'd pay $750. So things to think about. When I talk about benefits, my husband got sick at the end of the year. We had to pay our deductible end of the year and again at the beginning of the next year. So think about, do I have my deductible in the bank? What's my financial situation if I'm missing work and getting reduced income? You may have no income, reduced income. Your spouse might have to take off work to help take care of you. We still have to care for our children and our pets. Some people travel for treatment, need home health care, and we all have our everyday expenses, our utility bills, our mortgage, raising our children, kids' sports, college, whatever the case may be. These dollars that are paid to you can be used for whatever you want. Again, I mentioned bridging the gap with your medical. These are typically deducted from your paycheck on a post-tax basis. The reason for that is then when you're receiving the benefit, you're not having to pay taxes on that benefit that you're receiving. And again, you use the money however you want. It doesn't matter any other insurance benefits that you have or are receiving. So now we're going to start with the hospital indemnity benefit, which is the brand new benefit. The nice thing about the hospital indemnity benefit, it's letting you focus on getting better, not worrying about, oh gosh, I'm going to have to pay hospital bills. It's going to pay if you're hospitalized. A hospitalization is considered an admission, and usually that's 18 hours or more. You do have 24-hour coverage. So should you be hurt even at work, the hospitalization benefit would pay out. Whereas typically like a short-term disability benefit, for example, wouldn't pay out if you were hurt at work because workers' compensation is going to pay. This benefit, if you don't choose to enroll during your initial eligibility, which is now, you can enroll in future years without having to answer medical questions. Maternity is a covered benefit within this, but you do have to have been on the plan for 10 months in order to receive benefits for maternity. So there's no other pre-existing clause other than your hospitalization does need to occur after the effective date. We can't be hospitalized before the effective date and collect a benefit. And then where you see portable coverage, what that means is if you leave the company, you'd be able to continue coverage. It does have to have been in place for a year. So very easy, to navigate. The hospital benefits, this shows how much pays out and how many days per year you have. So there's one first day of hospital per year. The payout would be paid at $1,000 or $2,000, depending on if you're in a regular room or if you're in an ICU room. Then you have 30 additional days that would pay in each calendar year. So if it's a regular hospital room, $100 per day for up to 30 days, ICU room, $200 per day. You also have a newborn nursery benefit of 1 day for $100. Your days reset each calendar year. So if you're hospitalized for 4 days in a regular hospital room, you'd get $1,000 for the first day, $300 for the next 3 days, and then you'd have 27 days left. If you are readmitted, you don't get that first day again, but you still have 27 days of $100 or $200 per day. A great benefit, easy to understand. Critical illness benefits, these are not new, but again, it's your annual enrollment. To remind you how the critical illness benefits work, they pay out based on a diagnosis. This slide shows you the list of covered critical illnesses that pay out 100% of the benefit amount that you've elected, which we'll talk about and remind you what those are in a minute, unless it shows something different. So where you see coronary artery disease, carcinoma in situ, which is a less serious cancer, or skin cancer, payouts are paid out differently. You can get multiple payouts. There's not a maximum benefit. Multiple payouts can happen for anything in that first column, the second or third column. So first occurrences for Alzheimer's, brain tumors, coma, etc. And child-specific illnesses are only covered for a first occurrence. On the next slide, we see infectious diseases. So these benefits do also include coverage for infectious diseases. COVID's the first one on there. We've all heard about that. Rabies, malaria. You do have to be hospitalized for 3 days in order to collect an infectious disease benefit, and that benefit pays out 25% of the benefit amount you choose. So here are the coverage options. If you didn't enroll in the critical illness the first time you were eligible for benefits, to enroll this year, you will be required to answer medical questions to be approved, or if you want to increase the amount that you've elected in the past. If we have anybody new on the call, again, initial eligibility for benefits, that middle column there, you see that you can enroll for up to $30,000 with no medical questions on you. And this benefit allows for 50% of what you take on yourself on your spouse. If you want to increase your benefit amounts or elect for the first time, the questions aren't daunting. It asks about medical questions in the last 5 years. Those would be sent to you should you apply or want to increase your benefit. The critical illness coverage is also portable, so can be continued if you leave the company, if it's been in place for 12 months. Accident benefits. So the accident benefits pay to you if you're injured in an accident. Again, you use the cash however you want. This can be any type of accident. It can be a work accident, a car accident, sports injuries. You could trip over a stool, fall off your bike. It doesn't matter what the accident is. The accident just has to occur, including those on-the-job injuries we would pay. I like to mention not dependent on services, tests, or treatments because this applies to all of these supplemental benefits. It doesn't matter if you ride in an ambulance or have 3 follow-up visits or what tests or treatments you get. For the accident, it's the injury that happens in the accident. Accident coverage can also be continued if you leave the company and have had it for a year. Here is highlights of the injuries that are covered. So burns, comas, concussions, etc. What you see here is the benefit pays out based on the injury, where you see up to. So for example, for a burn, dislocation, or fracture, it's going to depend on the severity of the burn or the body part that was dislocated or fractured. I used my mother-in-law as an example here. She got her foot caught in a ladder and broke her tibia and her ankle. She would have gotten a $6,500 payout. It depends on the injury that happens in the accident. Both the critical illness and accident benefits have a $50 wellness benefit. A number of you already have the critical illness and accident benefits. It's very simple to go online and complete your wellness claim form. You can print off a paper form if you prefer, or you can file it online. This is an attestation. You check a box. I went to this provider, and let's say you get your annual physical. I got my annual physical on this date. If you're enrolled in both critical illness and accident, that would be a $100 payout to you, and each covered family member is eligible for that. Remember, if you're enrolled in the critical illness, your kids are automatically covered, whether you signed them up or not, for up to 25% of your benefit. So you can turn in wellness claims for them too. If you're not enrolled in these benefits, it's so important to get your wellness tests. They're covered at 100% on medical typically. Even a vision exam will get you the $50 wellness benefit. But you guys, early detection truly saves lives. My husband got cancer. It was diagnosed very early. We can't predict what's going to happen, but we can try to take care of our overall health. So as principal members, we like to make sure you guys are aware of additional services that come with your principal benefits. We encourage you to register on principal.com. If you haven't already done that, similar to your medical, register on principal.com. That allows you to also download and log into our mobile app. Out on the website, there are your benefit summaries, but in addition to that, there's about 30 to 40 pages of details. There's certificates or booklets on each of your principal benefits. You're all principal members. You've got the employer paid life, employer paid disability. In addition to that, you'll be able to access value added services, explanations of benefits, your ID cards, order new ID cards. Again, encourage you, be aware of what your benefits are, register out there on the site. And then this last slide is going to go over value-added services that you can access. So if you register, you'll be able to easily access these value-added services, but discounts for laser vision, hearing aid, teeth whitening, oral care products. We have an online oral health center where you can look up tons of different information, get a cost estimator, but you can also even email a dentist if you'd like to. Employee Assistance Program. This is through Magellan Healthcare. You go to member.magellanhealthcare.com or you call the phone number. Mental health has such a focus. Everything within your Employee Assistance Program is completely confidential. You have virtual visits available to you. You have legal and financial consultations available to you. And these are available to you and your family members. So I encourage you to look at this. Even if you're perfectly mentally sound, there's a discount mark. You have access to a will and legal document center where you can go online and create a will, living will, healthcare power of attorney, and additional documents. And there's travel assistance. The travel assistance, again, if you're traveling more than 100 miles from home. Lastly, we just like to mention we can't go through everything. Please be sure to look at those full benefit summaries and certificates for all the details of your plan. And we do welcome any questions that you may have. You can type those in the chat or ask at the end of the meeting.
Super,
Thank you
Sarah.
so much.
Thank you, Sarah. We did get one question in. What is the hospital indemnity max payout for maternity stay of 2 to 3 days?
So assuming it's in a regular hospital room, which would be normal, it would be $1,000 for the first day and then $100 for the second day. And then another $100 if 3 days was required. Please note that for the hospital indemnity benefit for maternity specifically, you do have to have been on the plan for 12 or 10 months, before maternity benefits pay out. So for example, you can absolutely sign up if you're pregnant. But if you're pregnant now and due before 10 months, which you would be, thank God, it wouldn't pay out for a pregnancy if you're already pregnant. Once you're enrolled on November 1, if you get pregnant, then 10 months out, you're all good.
Super, great. And if I have a foreseeable hospitalization, there is no time requirement to be on the hospital indemnity. So I can sign up November 1. Let's say I have something coming up in January where I need to be hospitalized and that was authorized and approved. I will get the cash benefit for the hospital indemnity.
Yep. If they're hospitalized, there's no pre-existing conditions with the exception of that maternity 10 months.
Maternity. Okay, super. Thank you very much.